Hey everybody, Rosematter here. Welcome to part 9 of my Higurashi When They Cry Tatarigoroshi Let's Play. So, as expected, after Keiichi thought that he murdered someone, he's starting to kind of slip more and more into some sort of psychosis. Although it turns out that he may not have actually murdered the uncle because Sadako says that he's still around, and when he tried to dig up the body, there was no body. But now Oishi's on to him. Coach knows about what he's done and is trying to, I guess, get him some psychological help. So it feels like the walls are kind of closing in on Keiichi, and he thinks that there's some sort of doppelganger of himself running around doing things. So it's just a whole mess. And I'm hoping we're going to get some answers in this episode, but I don't know. I doubt it. So let's continue and let's see what happens next. The body wasn't there. The police didn't arrest me because of that, but I didn't know whether to feel happy about it. Just like Sadako had said, I'd failed to kill her uncle. The body wasn't there, so I was forced to conclude as much, no matter what strange natural disaster, coincidence, or miracle it might have implied. In order to free Sadako, I became a demon. And this abnormal world was my reward. Yes, metaphorically, I had fallen into the demon world. It's kind of like how Mion was calling herself a demon in the last chapter, saying she did what she had to do, and she's a demon because of it. But if that price had been in exchange for the life of Sadako's uncle, then that would have been fine. Since Sadako's uncle was still alive, still shackling her to him, I needed to become a demon once again. One more time. No, as many times as it took. I would kill that man over and over again until Sadako was liberated. I had already awoken. I looked at the clock to see it was early in the morning, at just about 5. It was already light outside. Once I'd hardened my resolve to become a demon again, I could feel my whole body teeming with the awakened power once more. Time wasn't an issue. No matter what, I'd do it. I got myself up. The exhaustion from the past 2 days were completely swept away, and I didn't even feel sleepy anymore either. I slowly rose and made sure my body was moving like I wanted it to. I could feel blood flowing through each and every one of my fingers. As I got dressed, I let my mind wander and had a strange thought. These 2 days, while I've said it was for Sadako's sake, the only thing on my mind has been killing. I'd said it was for Sadako, but while actually carrying out the act, I had completely forgotten about Sadako, albeit only temporarily. Maybe initially it was for Sadako's sake, but now I was just a demon killing for the sake of killing, and as a result I'd sunk into a world fit for such a demon. Maybe it was the same for Satoshi. He resolved himself to kill his aunt to save Sadako, became a demon, then disappeared from the sunlit Himizawa, vanishing into the demon world. Which meant that after all was said and done, I'd met the same fate as him. I tried to avoid making the same mistakes, but it happened anyway. Which meant that maybe Satoshi was here. Satoshi had come to this world a year before me, so he would be here somewhere. Then, surprised, I stopped walking. There was the second set of footsteps I'd grown so used to hearing.
お前、ひょっとして、サトシなのか?
The empty, lifeless air wouldn't give me an answer, but I felt a strange kind of relief that there was someone there, that Satoshi had stuck with me the whole time. Let's go, Satoshi. Once more. This time we will set Sadako free for sure. I quietly slipped out of the house so my parents wouldn't notice. Surprised that his parents didn't get a call from Coach yesterday about all that stuff. It's like yesterday never happened, all that stuff with Coach and Oishi. It's just like he's living his normal life. It's almost like Groundhog Day. It's like he has to do the same thing over and over again. Except this time he's going without a plan. He's just like, alright, we're gonna go kill her uncle, but I'm just gonna go do it. If they caught me now while I'd been out way too late for 2 days now, they'd give me a really angry talking to. I didn't have the time to allow for that to happen. Today, I would put an end to it. If the dead body disappeared, then I didn't have to bury it. I could just burn it to ashes, and then take them with me so I could kill him again every time he resurrected. I'd do it again. I'd kill him again. And this time I'd set her free. Outside, the morning light was so beautiful as to stagger belief. I went to the storage room to find weapons with which I could kill him for sure. Blunt or not, it didn't matter to me. Right now, I didn't even need to care whether someone saw or if the police came. This world had gone crazy after all. It's like I'm in a video game. It's like nothing I do has any consequences. A world where I'd shown up at the festival and had fun, even though I wasn't there. Even if the police arrested me, I'd probably end up going right back home as if nothing had happened. Both me and that other Ch.3 Maibara. Even without me, he'd fill in. I could vanish from Hinamizawa without anyone noticing. So basically, I didn't care if I was mistakenly killed. Even if I died, Ch.3 Maibara would remain. After all, this isn't the world I belong in. If I was going to be killed mistakenly for Sadako's sake, then that was just part of my duty as her Nini. As those desperate thoughts became serious, the morning air felt more refreshing to me, strangely enough.
これは怖いな。こいつにするか。
It was a hatchet meant for chopping thick firewood. Oh, wasn't that what Rana had? Wasn't she chasing Keiichi with a hatchet in the first chapter? Its hefty steel blade was sinister, almost as though it was a tool meant for killing people. I couldn't exactly take it out in public like that, so I wrapped it a little in some old newspaper and tossed it into the basket on my bike. At least he's being a little bit more subtle this time.
連日悪い用事に使ってばかりで悪いな。今日も頼むぜ。俺の足。
I apologized to my bike for some reason. Okay, she's just talking to everything now. For the past 3 days, I'd only used it for dangerous things. I've been riding this bike ever since I lived in my old town. I can walk most places I wanted to go, so I hadn't used it all that much. My mom had bought it for me when I entered cram school, thinking it would be a convenient way to get to the station since it was far away. So I'd always used it to get back and forth from cram school. I'd only ever put textbooks and class materials in the front basket, too. I never tried to put a hatchet that I'd used to kill someone in here. When I came to Hinamizawa, life finally felt fun. I met the best friends ever and had some of the greatest times ever. Those times might have been shattered now, but it was my greatest wish that I could get them back, even if I had to risk my life to do it. That's how fun those times had been. I killed someone, and now I was at it again, needing to kill someone. Murder was a crime. I didn't believe that people should ever think murder was okay. But still, the times I'd had were enjoyable enough for me to commit such a crime. My friends were irreplaceable, and the time spent with them a treasure. Hanging out, laughing, sometimes tricking each other, but always in a friendly way. I didn't fear committing any crimes as long as it was for the sake of taking back those times that gave my heart so much pleasure. It is like he's saying, like at first he's doing this for Sadako, but he wants it so he can get his normal life back too, it sounds like. Yes, this was a value I decided to uphold. It wasn't something I learned from a school teacher. It was a noble path that I chose for myself. Sure, dude. Tell yourself murder is noble if it means that you get what you want out of it. I thought back to when I'd first come to Hinamizawa. About how on the very first day, Sadako had welcomed me via a blackboard eraser with a rock in it. That welcome really surprised the heck out of me. She would laugh, get angry, cry. She was never boring. She was obviously the most childlike one among us, but she was actually lively, full of vim and vigor, and good at meddling in other people's business. That went for Mion, Rena, and Rika-chan too. Wasn't Sadako the one at the center of everyone's laughing and banter? Sadako would try to look cool. Then Mion would make fun of her endlessly. Then Sadako would cry, which would put Rena in a state of ecstasy. I miss those crying. I miss the fake crying, the crocodile tears, not the real heart-wrenching crying that she's been doing in this chapter. Rika-chan would be greatly delighted. And I happened to get mixed up in it. We would always fool around like that. It was lonely when someone wasn't around, but if I had to name one for whom it was the worst, it would have been Sadako. Her smile was everyone's smile. Ever since she stopped smiling, so did the rest of us. And for the rest of us, not smiling was the same as dying. It was just like when I was silently going to cram school every day just to maintain my unchanging test scores. So basically, we were nothing when she wasn't smiling. She was full of hot air, but she was our princess, cute and unhateable. In that case, I was her knight, searching for the dragon's castle in order to win her smile back.
ナイトなら武器は剣だろ。ツーハンデッドのかっこいいやつ。錆びた肉厚のナタで挑むナイトは、多分古今東西俺一人だな。
And this is when people on the street see him and just go in the other direction. He's just like, oh lord, he's talking about going after someone with a hatchet, and he's talking to himself. Then I saw an old woman in the ridge of a field waving to me.
おやケイチ君かい朝のサイクリングかいね
おはようございます。
I reflexively waved back in a refreshing way. Should I really have been feeling so happy waving like that? Sadako's house would be right past this road, going beyond the rice paddies. The cicadas had woken up too, and the next thing I knew, I was the audience to their daily chorus. I gave myself a hit or two in the head and drove away my merry morning mood. I took a deep breath, then tilted my head back, quelling my pointless excitement. The body wasn't there. Its absence either meant my killing him had been an illusion, or that I'd kill him and he'd risen from the dead. If I was at the festival, then maybe I should have considered it an illusion. Coach probably thought that way, which is why he treated me like a lunatic. But it being an illusion was just impossible. I killed him without a doubt. Without a doubt. If that had been an illusion, then that would make all of this Hinamizawa I was in right now an illusion. If that was the case, then here's how it would end up. I was actually in a vegetative state due to a traffic accident, and I was currently dreaming in a hospital bed about how great it would be to spend time with friends in rice paddies like these. That was a terrifying thought, though. What if all of these chapters just took place in he's in a coma and he's dreaming all of this? If this wasn't an illusion, then the only possible answer was that he'd resurrected. It would make him a literal monster. But if he was such a monster, then I was no less a monster myself. I didn't hesitate to kill someone, and I could even manipulate curses. Takano-san had died probably because I'd cursed her. Or maybe that was a little much. If Coach and Oishi died too, like I cursed them to yesterday, then I'd believe it. I set my bicycle aside and went to take a look. His motorbike wasn't here. Of course it wasn't. I sent it down to hell that night, throwing it into the Onagafuchi swamp. Or maybe, just like how the corpse wasn't here, maybe the motorbike didn't get thrown into the swamp either. The fact that his bike wasn't here might have been because he had gone to town and hadn't come back, not necessarily because I'd thrown it into the swamp. If her uncle wasn't around, then that was convenient on its own. Then I would just show myself in, then wait for him to return, sharpening my hatchet. If he was there. Forgotten sensations came back to my gut. A feeling of tension rose within me. The sensation was like poison, dulling my actions. But it could also be the trigger to allow myself to awaken to my superhuman, otherworldly self. I held the hatchet still wrapped in newspaper. Its weight in my hand was profound, sinister, and reliable. I didn't know what time it was without a clock, but it was probably still a little before 7. Sadako would probably be awake preparing breakfast and her lunch. But her uncle would probably still be wallowing in indolence. A guy like him probably would have stayed up late drinking, probably always slept until noon. I considered ringing the doorbell and having Sadako open the door for me, but if her uncle woke up at the sound, I'd waste my chance of him still being asleep. If Sadako saw me sneaking inside without ringing the doorbell, she'd be surprised. If I ran into her, what would I say? "I've come to kill your uncle for you, so stay quiet." No, I couldn't do that. That would be like making Sadako responsible for his death. Be quiet and go wait outside. Maybe that would do it. How would Sadako react to that? She would probably try to get me to give up on killing him. I would have to lie somehow to get her to go outside. Sadako didn't need to know that a murder was going to occur in this house. I couldn't quite think of a good lie to tell her, but I couldn't do much just standing around like this. I made up my mind and grabbed the doorknob. Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening again. And slowly turned it. Maybe, if Keiichi's right, if he actually is still alive. Like, I'm still very confused about this. And pulled. It wasn't locked. The gap between the door and the wall steadily grew larger. I'm trying to think, is this a Sunday? So, would she be staying home all day, or is this during a school day? Because if it's school day, he could just wait for her to go to school, but if it's Sunday, this is a bad time for him to go do it. The chain wasn't even on. The oppressive smell of life in Sadako's house hit me. At the entrance, there was a few pairs of shoes and sandals. I couldn't tell whether he had been here or not just by looking at them. I could hear a television on somewhere. Oh, boy. Ooh. Oh, I wonder if we're actually going to see this uncle. The television was in the messy dining room. Oh, this stresses me out looking at it. Jeez. I could not deal with living in a place like this. There was food scattered around that table, giving an impression decidedly different from a happy family's mealtime. Meals were for eating food while thanking the person for making it. Meaning whatever occurred in this dining room wasn't a meal. Nobody in sight. No sign of anyone either. But with the television on, he must have been close. Could he have anticipated my coming and be hiding, waiting for me? The tension I felt was so thick, so tight that I thought it would choke me. The newspaper wrapping the hatchet's thick blade didn't hamper its power at all. I tightened my grip on it, then very carefully took a look around. Where had those peaceful feelings from before I arrived here gone? Even the sound of sweat bubbling up on my brow got on my nerves. And then I looked at the table and realized something. This wasn't breakfast. The grains of boiled rice were all hard and dried up. Then, was it last night's dinner? Uh-oh. Where's Sadako and the uncle? Ooh, what's going on? I left the dining room, keeping vigilant, went down the hallway and found the stairs to the second floor. When that man was playing with his friends, he looked out of a second-story window. It was highly possible that room was his own, and that he slept there. I tiptoed up the edges of the stairs, quietly climbing without making a sound. I gotta say, this game is probably better than almost any game I've ever played at creating feelings of tension just with words. Like, I'm not even playing the game, I'm just reading it, but I feel tense right now, just what to expect. I couldn't hear any kind of snoring. I didn't hear anything up there. I went through a few rooms, slowly and quietly opening the paper doors, checking inside, but I still couldn't find anyone around. To search more efficiently, I got down on the floor and pressed my ear right up to it. I could hear the television in the dining room, and a low hum, perhaps of boiling water. This is making, because I'm just like, where's Sadako? Is she okay? That's what I care about right now. It was then that I started to harbor some feelings of suspicion. This house wasn't right. It seemed like people had been here since the TV was on, but it wasn't normal for nobody to be around this early in the morning. I silently descended the stairs and went back into the dining room. I looked at the food scattered about. Completely dried up rice. An overturned bowl of miso soup. A package for a side dish bought at the supermarket. I could tell Sadako had definitely been the one who made this. The food was far from Mion's perfection, or Rena's gentleness, but it was sincere. Judging by how she cooked for me at my house, and from the type of amount of side dishes, I deduced the meal was from last night. The number stamped into the food package read 83-6-20. June 20th, 1983. That was yesterday. And there was food for two, which meant that this was last night's dinner, and Sadako's uncle would have been here then. Stop it, Keiichi. Don't even think about saying the word impossible again. Anyway, her uncle was here last night. That much was the truth. He had found fault with Sadako's food, thrown the bowl of miso soup, and flung the rest everywhere. Hidden deep within my feelings of calm and composure was lit a flame of anger and a curse. Should I have ever showed this man any mercy? Bump. Uh-oh. I heard the sound again, the one from before, like a water boiler. When was it coming from? The first floor? But where? The bathroom, maybe? I could hear the noise coming from the other side of the frosted glass at the far end of the changing room. Ooh, getting tense again. What am I going to find? It had to have been the sound of the water boiler for the bath. Steam was enshrouding the glass door, and the heat from it was leaking into the changing room where I was standing too. Oh no, what am I going to find? Oh, my misgivings deepened. Did he drown Sadako? Did he do something to her? People didn't normally take a bath this early in the morning. If one did, then it would mean that in this house, time had been stopped ever since some moment last night. Whistle, whistle, whistle. Was it being reheated? The water boiler in the bathroom had been active this whole time. I checked in a clothing basket and saw Sadako's familiar uniform stuffed in it. Oh no, this uniform had stains and dried rice stuck to it. Certainly not something she could wear today. It was probably from the miso soup at the dinner table yesterday. I looked hard at the frosted glass, but I couldn't see anything through all the steam. And then an electric surge ran through my mind, and a terrible premonition came over me. Could she... She couldn't possibly have been in there since last night. That would be impossible. But no, in Hinamizawa right now, nothing was impossible. I gulped audibly, then quietly pulled aside the glass door. Please don't show me a dead Sadako, please. God, don't show me a dead Sadako. Please, 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 no. Hot, steaming air burst out of the slight opening. The fan wasn't on in the changing room, so it went completely white with the steam. Oh, just as the hot vapor poured into the changing room. Cooler air also flowed into the room with the bath. And I just heard, due to it being hit by that air, a very weak moan. That was all I needed to know who it was. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. No answer. Sadako was in the bathtub, surrounded by a thick layer of rising steam. The top half of her body was leaning over the edge of the tub, and she was passed out. The water boiler kept on making a whistling noise as if angered. I could see the gas flame through a small window. It was roaring at full force, completely blue. Sadako's entire body was boiled red and flaccid as though her bones had melted away. No, 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 she was almost like a doll as she laid there unconscious. I wasn't sure how many seconds passed as I stared in complete bafflement. I came back to my senses and promptly shut off the boiler. Then I dragged Sadako's small body out of the bathtub. Oh, I'm tripping over my words here. Ugh, the water in there was as hot as the water in public baths. Was she in this boiling water for the entire night? She'll die. She'll die. Sadako's body was lighter than I expected as I laid her on the floor and wrapped her in a towel. I went back to the bathroom and opened up the vent, creating a path for a cool breeze to come through. Upon the breeze hitting her, Sadako moaned again. Oh, Sadako recognized me and muttered a response, but I couldn't really tell what she was saying. Her eyes were muddy and unfocused. I could tell she wasn't completely conscious. Upon closer inspection, her limbs and waist were twitching slightly. This was way worse than normal overheating. This was dangerous. Didn't they call this heat stroke? Think, what would the teacher do if a girl passed out in the middle of summer during a marathon in gym class or something? I turned the water faucet in the kitchen all the way on and soaked a towel in it. I then took the cold towel and pressed it to Sadako's forehead. Sadako reacted harshly to the coldness and let out a muffled voice. For burns. Right, you would soak the burned spot under running water. Then, could I run cold water in the shower and cool her off like that? No, if it was that sudden, it wouldn't be good for her heart. She'd go into shock. I think I read that once before. Ugh, this was as much nursing as I could possibly give her. Anything more than this would be too much for the likes of an amateur. Don't worry about that, dude. Call an ambulance. What the hell? Wait, she wasn't... Did she do this to herself? What? What was Sadako reciting under her breath? It's like she's trying to train herself to be strong? Like... What the hell? Like, I don't know. I brought my ear to her mouth to better make out the mysterious, spell-like words she kept saying. And at that moment, I understood what they were for. People tell little kids in the bath to count to 100 a lot, right? Sadako was counting like that. But 5,039?
バカ野郎お前の家の風呂はいくつ数える決まりになってんだよ
Is that her saying that, or is that the uncle saying to do that? I doubted my ears and doubted her common sense. 10,000?
ふざけんなバカ野郎1万なんて数えられるバカがどこにいるんだよ数えられるわけねえだろその前に湯だって死んじまうに決まってんだろどうしてこんなことに
Oh no. Last night her uncle flew into a rage at the dinner she'd made, saying it stunk and was inedible. Sadako didn't understand what on earth he meant. It wasn't much different than what she usually made for him. Maybe he hated the smell of the pickled vegetables she'd bought in particular. Her uncle then decided the stink was... Oh, that was the thing from the last episode where it talks about, like, he says I stink and to take a bath. Her uncle decided the stink was originating from Sadako and shouted at her that she never ever took baths. And then he put Sadako in the boiling water, told her not to come out until she counted 2. Ugh. There's the demon. Keiichi, maybe let's focus on getting her to the hospital first, and then you can kill the uncle later. I snapped and exploded. Raising the newspaper-wrapped hatchet, I stampeded through the house. Once again, dude, I understand he's in a state right now, but it's like, worry about her first, okay? I searched for anything. Traces, signs, smells, vibrations, heartbeats. Maybe he did come back from the dead, and maybe the stink is originating from the uncle, but he smells it and he thinks it's coming from Sadako. I don't know. With a war cry, I raced up the stairs with such force I could have stomped a hole through them. Then I found the futon in the room I thought to be her uncle's, and well aware he wasn't sleeping in it, I bashed it with the hatchet. Did he run into the closet? I'd bust the entire closet down, door and all. And if he's not there, maybe there's a secret door. Any switches or levers in the walls here? I smashed into wall after wall with the hatchet, crushing them. Dust rose into the air and broken pieces scattered about the floor. I smashed all the glass windows too, for good measure. Yeah, he's not thinking about Sadako right now. He's just thinking about himself and his rage. After I destroyed everything beyond recognition in her uncle's room, my reason finally kicked in and suppressed my emotions. Thank you, finally. Anyway, her uncle wasn't in the house right now. I'd have to leave killing him until later. Right now, I had to do something about Sadako. I went back to the changing room. Sadako was still lying limp on the floor. There was nothing more an amateur like me could do for her. I needed to take her to the clinic. Coach had treated me like a lunatic yesterday and tried to lock me up in a mental hospital. I never wanted to see his damn face again, but I still needed to go to the infirmary one more time. I needed to have a doctor look at Sadako. I thought about putting her in the dirty uniform lying in the laundry basket, but I had no experience dressing someone, so it would be pretty difficult, plus any clothing on her body right now would probably hurt. Shit, I don't have time to be wasting here. I eventually gave up on clothing her and decided to carry her in her bath towel. The clinic was close to Sadako's house. It would be way faster to carry her there than call 119 and get an ambulance. I threw the biggest towel I could find over her and prompted her to stand.
立てるか俺が診療所までおぶって行ってやるから
ありがとうですわ
Her words sounded clearer than before. She was starting to come back. I cried tears of relief just knowing she'd improved even a little bit. Sadako turned over so she was lying on her face, and then put up a weak struggle to get up on a knee. I smoothly swept her up and put her on my back. The towel I put on her seemed like it was about to fall off.
バスタオル痛い
すぐ着くからしばらくの間だけ我慢してろ
It didn't hurt one bit to carry Sadako. She was light, too light. The lightness actually made me uneasy. Outside it had gotten hotter, as though eager to attack Sadako. Fucking cicadas. Why did it have to choose this morning to get so hot out? I didn't have time to swear at them. The clinic was this way. Hoisting Sadako up on my back, I broke into a trot. Oh, God, this escalated so much quicker than I thought it was going to. Man, oh man. Like, this has to be it, right? This has got to get the uncle. Look, I mean, Sadako's probably going to deny it, but still, like, she's going to a clinic, she's burned, like, let's get some investigations in here. The hilly road to the clinic, with which I'd never had difficulties before, was now torturous. Big beads of sweat formed on my brow, and at some point my breath had grown faint. The hatchet in my belt was heavy and made it hard to walk. I considered leaving it, but I couldn't let it go, at least not while Sadako's uncle was still breathing. The signboard for the Erie Clinic came into sight, but I quickly noticed something was odd, so I stopped. Several red revolving lights were flashing at the clinic. 3 police cars were parked in the parking lot with their lights on. There didn't need to be much else to inform me something had happened. Oh shit, did Coach die too? I didn't want to see Coach, so I planned to leave Sadako in the clinic waiting room and give the receptionist a message. But with the police officer Oishi here, I couldn't go inside so carelessly. Oh.
パトカーがいっぱいいますですわよ。
I gently put Sadako down in the shade of the thicket.
わからない。様子を見てくるから、しばらくここにいろ。
レディをバスタオル1枚でこんなとこに置いてくなんてなってませんわね。
それだけ悪態がつけりゃ大丈夫だ。
I'll be right back, I added, getting to my feet. Cautious of my surroundings, I hid myself behind a car and got closer to the officers grouped at the clinic's entrance. At this point, I would maybe ditch the hatchet, just for a little bit. I overheard an officer wearing a necktie, probably their leader, and a white-robed doctor having a discussion about something. The doctor didn't seem to be Coach. It was one of those who Coach told to make the tea yesterday. Something happened. Something happened to Coach.
それでどんな感じだったんです？
事務室の所長席のソファーに座って居眠りをしているように見えました。
Oh my gosh. Now Keiichi's really gonna believe that he has powers.
で、机の上に水差しと空き瓶になった睡眠薬があったんで、あなたはすぐに睡眠薬で自殺したんだと考えたと。それで？
高熱と瞳孔の拡大に重度の意識障害も見られました。睡眠薬中毒の典型的な重症例だと思いましたので、直ちに対応に入りました。
警察も救急も呼ばずに？
ここは病院で私は医師ですよ。生命が危険な状態にあるなら、直ちに治療して当然です。
ああ、まあいいからいいから。それで？
呼吸が不正常だったので、人工呼吸を施しました。合わせて呼吸刺激薬を投与。効果が出なかったので、人工呼吸器の準備をし。
ああ、はいはい。それでつまりいろいろ頑張ったけど結局ダメだったと、そういうわけですよね。通報は死んでから直ちに？
はい、救うことができずとても残念です。
Just then, a radio in one of the police cars started to buzz, producing a broken mechanical voice.
こちら本部、こちら本部。小宮山さん、聞こえますか？どうぞ。
もしもし、小宮山です。ああ、お疲れ様です。睡眠薬での自殺みたいですね。遺書の類はなし。
Suicide? What the heck were they talking about? Someone had committed suicide at the clinic. But who? I wished Takano-san dead, and she died the next day. And yesterday, I wished Coach was dead. Then, could he have...
普段から睡眠薬を常用していたとかは？
あまり知りません。
日頃疲れたとか死にたいとかそんなこと言ってました？
入江先生は普段からああいう性格でしたから、とてもそんな風には。
So I was right. Iri-sensei. They were talking about Coach. Coach killed himself. Why would he do that? There couldn't have been any reason he wanted to die. The only reason that came to mind was that I wanted him dead. Well, there you go, Keiichi. Just curse the uncle. And he'll take care of it himself. And you don't even have to get your hands dirty. This world was insane. If I wanted someone dead, they'd die. That was the kind of world this was. Then what about Oishi? What happened to him? If people really died because I wanted them to, then something should have happened to him too. Oishi has got some sort of like magical barrier around him. He is just this weird force in Hinamizawa that just can't seem to ever die.
そちらに応援が向かいました。
Because it seems like throughout Hinamizawa, or throughout Higurashi, the chapters, it seems like almost every character has died at some point, but Oishi always manages to make it out.
課長からそちらは応援に任せて大石社の捜索に戻るとのこと。
Oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon.
了解しました。じゃあすいません。
Maybe I spoke too soon. We'll see. We don't have any confirmation yet.
こっちに今応援が来てるそうですから、現場はこのままにしておいてください。おい、行くぞ。
The officers nodded and split up into the patrol cars. Did they just say searching for Oishi's car? Searching for his car. That meant he had gone missing? Takano-san, Coach, and Oishi. When I wished for it, the very next day, they disappeared. No matter how angry you were when you said you wished someone was dead, it didn't normally happen. Everyone knew just wishing for it wouldn't make them dead, and that's why people could utter such curses so lightly. But the curses I uttered were being granted. At the time, I hadn't even been walking, and yet... Tap. I heard a footstep. And it wasn't only one this time. Tap, tap. They came from behind, and they stood right behind me, reaching a hand from my shoulder. Ooh, ooh, ooh!
何事なんですの？
That got me.
聡子が脅かすなよ。
驚いたのはこっちでしてよ。いきなり大声を出さないでくださいまし。
It was Sadako. Her eyes were still unstable, unfocused, but she seemed able to at least walk on her own now. She looked far better now compared to her earlier exhausted state.
具合はどうなんだ？もう大丈夫なのか？
まだ頭が痛いですけど、いつまでもこんな格好で表にいられませんもの。
She gave a smile, a show of courage, but her legs were still shaky.
それより、これは一体何事なんですの？今、警察が話してるのを聞いてた限りじゃ。
監督が自殺したらしい。
Sadako was at a loss for words. Her face grew paler and paler, and I could tell she was doubting her own ears.
ケイチさん、それ、本当ですの？何かの聞き間違いじゃないんですの？
確かにそう聞いたよ。入江先生が睡眠薬で自殺したって。
Sadako went down on her knees and broke out in tears.
嘘ですわ。監督が自殺なんて、そんなの絶対に。
As I watched Sadako crying and clawing at the grass, I felt myself trapped by guilt and remorse. I got so angry that Coach was treating me like a madman yesterday, that he'd betrayed me, that I had thought he'd be better off dead. But even Coach, who to me deserved to die, still must have had people who loved and respected him. Like Sadako here. In my selfish, egotistical anger, I wished for his death, and it was granted. And now Sadako was crying hysterically as a result. The guilt tore at my heart. I worked myself up to murder for Sadako's sake. I decided I wanted Sadako to be happy. But was that really all it took? Murder meant taking someone's life. It meant making everyone attached to that person sad. In Sadako's uncle's case, of course, nobody would be sad. So I didn't feel a sense of guilt at all. But Coach's death was different. I had wanted to make Sadako happy, and that had resulted in me inflicting a deep sadness upon her, hadn't it? But Coach killed himself. It wasn't my... Sadako still hadn't stopped crying, but she seemed to be a little calmer now. Wiping her tears, she stood up.
すまない。
and the only thing I could think to say to her was an apology.
どうして謝りますの？
俺昨日監督と喧嘩して、お前なんか呪ったんだ。呪ったから本当に死んじゃって。
Dude, you could have just say, well, also, you know, if someone is mourning someone, it's very common for someone to say, I'm sorry. You know? He didn't have to spill the beans. Sadako looked at me dubiously for a few moments. Eventually, her expression softened as she interpreted my words in her own way.
圭一さんのせいではありませんわ。
Aww. It's nice to... I don't want to say it's nice to see her like this, but she's more clear-eyed now, at least.
監督も大人ですもの。自分の命を捨てるに値する都合があって悩んだ末に選んだんですもの。誰のせいでもありませんわ。
She smiled a little, trying to comfort me.
いつまでもこのままでいたくありませんわ。服が欲しい。
いいのかよ、診療所に行って見てもらった方が。
服を着てから見てもらっても別に死にはしませんわ。
Oh, I hope that's not a, I won't die from putting clothes on before going in. Hopefully that's not a premonition. Sadako readjusted her bath towel and started back along the path. Her stride was wobbly, and it didn't look like she'd recovered as much as she let on. Or she doesn't want to go to the clinic because they're going to ask her questions. At first, Sadako tried to go back home, but it was the time of morning when people were going to school and to work, so after seeing people walking around, she thought better of it. She must have been pretty embarrassed wearing only the towel.
理科のうちに行きますわよ。私の服あるはずですから。どうしたんですの？圭一さん。
Sadako noticed how I was hanging my head and spoke to me.
監督はああ見えても大人ですのよ。圭一さんと喧嘩したくらいで自殺するような人ではありませんわ。自分を責めるのをおやしなさいませ。
At first, I thought it was a coincidence, but with 3 people now, I couldn't discard the possibility. There was no such thing as impossible in this world.
この数日おかしいんだ。
何がですの？
Sadako seemed to be having trouble breathing, but she still tried to listen to what I had to say.
おとといの綿流しのお祭り、お前は途中で帰ったから行かなかったんだよな。そして俺は祭りに行ってみんなと遊んだ。
らしいですわね。あの時は取り乱して申し訳ありませんでしたわね。
Sadako remembered how she blew up at me in the classroom yesterday and bowed to me a little.
実は俺祭りに行っていないって言ったら信じるか？
Sadako looked at me confused. She couldn't help it, of course.
信じられるわけありませんわ。何を今さら。
信じられないだろ。信じられないのはだって俺は祭りに行っていないのに、俺が祭りに現れてみんなと遊んだって言うんだ。こんなの信じられるわけないだろ。
それ本気ですの？
ああ、綿流しの夜からおかしいんだ。いつの間にか変な足音がペタペタとついてくるようになって。
The blood drained from Sadako's expression. Oh, maybe Satoshi
足
said...
音がペタペタ。
Maybe Satoshi said something similar to her before he disappeared, that he was hearing footsteps too.
そうなんだ。最初は気のせいだと思ってたけど、ずっとついてくるんだ。多分今もついてきてる。里子の足音と混じってよく聞き分けられないけれど。
Sadako took a long and hard look at me. Maybe she was doubting my sanity. Coach did the same thing. I mean, why wouldn't he, after telling him this? The more I thought about it, the more I was unable to endure the feelings my hatred for Coach had been meaningless.
綿流しの日、俺は祭りに行かず、ずっとだぞ。眠ったり意識がなくなったりしたことはなかった。だから寝ぼけ気分でフラフラと記憶になく祭りに出かけたなんてことはありえない。
それはおかしいですわね。なら どうやってお祭りで遊んだんですの？
だから俺は祭りには行ってないんだよ。
No, I can't let myself get emotional. If I get agitated now, that would be like proving that there's something wrong with my head.
あ、ごめん、みんなが信じてくれないんでつい。
圭一さんがそう言うなら信じてあげますわ。それで？
あの夜高野さんに会ったんだ。それで見下されたと思って俺は心の中で念じたんだ。お前なんか死んじまえって。
高野さんってどことなくそういう雰囲気がございますものね。その気持ちわからなくもありませんでしたよ。
高野さんが死んだの昨日の話だ。どこかで焼け死んだらしい。
それ本当ですの？死んだんですの？
俺が死ねと願うと次の日には死んでるんだ。それから警察の大石ってやつも知ってるか？あのムカつく太った刑事みたいなやつ。
Sadako nodded a little.
さっき警察が話してるのを聞いたんだが、どうもあいつ実は昨日あいつにも死んじまえって念じてたんだ。
それ本当の話ですの？
嘘じゃない。俺だって信じたくないけど本当の話なんだ。高野さんも監督も大石も俺が死ねと念じたら本当に死んでしまったんだ。
For a little while, Sadako was at a loss. A long silence ensued.
それは怖い話ですわね。圭一さんにせめて嫌われないように気をつけませんと。
それだけじゃない。もっとおかしいこともあ
Oh,
るん
he's
だ。
gonna tell her too?
それ
Man,
はお前のおじなんだ。
dude got some loose lips. But I
おじ
mean,
様の話はやめてくださいましな。
it makes sense. He's pretty much spilled the beans on everything. Why not say this too?
昨日いたんだろお前の家に。
あの人の話はやめてくださいます。嫌なんですの。
ありえないんだ。あいつがいるわけがないんだ。
やめてって言ってますのよ。いや
あの男が綿流しの夜以降いるわけがないんだ。だって
あの男のことはもう嫌なんですの。
俺が殺したんだこの手で。
Even the cicadas stopped crying. Her face was streaked with tears, and it stiffened even more as she looked at me in disbelief.
俺が綿流しの祭りの夜にお前だからお前の家に帰ってくるなんてことは。
I'm sorry, I keep skipping. I want to see what's going on, and I keep skipping. I apologize. But still, he went back. And last night he found fault with the dinner you made him, yelled all sorts of things at you, and basically boiled you in the bathtub. That couldn't possibly have happened.
だから俺はあの男を確かに殺したという証拠を確かめるために埋めたしたよ昨日。だがそこには死体はなかった。こんなことがありえると思うか？確かに殺したのに死体がないんだ。そして何事もなかったかのように帰宅してお前の前にこんなことがあっていいはずないだろう。
Sadako's entire body stiffened. She was shrinking away like there was someone in front of her about to hurt her.
お前も俺のこと頭が変になったって思ってるんだろうな。無理もないさ。俺だって信じられない。
圭一さんはきっと偶然呪った人が死んでしまったんで混乱してるだけに違いありませんわ。監督の自殺にショックを受けて気が動転してるだけなんですのよ。今日はもう学校を休んでお家で休んだ方がよろしいと思いますわ。私はもう平気ですから、どうかご自分の体を大事になさいまし。
Sadako spoke like she understood me, but she also told me to go home. I could see the revulsion in her face and knew she didn't want to be around me anymore.
サトコをちゃんと診療所まで見送ったら、サトコだってまだ足元がフラフラじゃないか。途中で倒れたら大変だぞ。
私はもう本当に大丈夫
No,
なんです。
don't leave her be. No, 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 no.
男の人にいつまでもこんな姿を晒していたくないんですのよ。
Aww. She wobbled up the shrine steps, looking like she was about to fall. I hope Rika's there at least. Oh, I immediately ran up to her and helped her on her feet. But then Sadako promptly jumped away from me. That outright rejection hurt a lot. Once she got to the top of the stairs, her breathing was ragged, and she wasn't even looking at me. At this point, I was being ignored. Well, it was more like she didn't want anything to do with me. It really was a feeling of rejection. And that hurt my heart more than any blade could have. This was the path I chose for her sake. To be treated like this at the end of it all was just so saddening. Don't be naive, Keiichi Maibara. You never wanted to be repaid in the first place. You didn't do it so that Sadako would thank you. You did this so Sadako would be happy. And that was what led to this ending. Rika-chan's house was a disaster prevention storehouse used by the town council. If you went past it a little further through the shrine grounds, you'd apparently reach the back of the assembly hall. Sadako was heading there, walking quickly, the gravel under her feet crunching as she went. Did she want to get there as soon as possible, or did she want to run away? I couldn't tell. And then I heard the vigorous sounds of wings flapping. I turned around and saw a crow. I hadn't seen many crows since coming to Hinamizawa. I saw them a lot in my own town, though. Crows are not a good sign. Crows are usually... Isn't that usually a sign of, like, death or something like that? Of bad luck. On garbage day, they'd flock to trash collection points, peck through the bags with their beaks, drag out the contents, and have a feast. As I was remembering that, I saw a few crows flocking around the shrine's donation box. And I thought how terrible it was for someone to leave a garbage bag in a place like that. Oh no, the cicadas quieted. Breathing stopped. Thoughts ceased. Even time came to a halt. I ran over to where the crows were flocking. I ran there in order to drive a horrible idea out of my mind. What? I definitely hadn't wanted this. There's no way I would ever wish for this, even by mistake. This was not... Oh no. This was not... Oh my god, is Rika dead? Oh my god, no! What? No! How? When they noticed my vicious approach, the crows all flapped... Oh, sorry guys. Oh my god, I am like... Ugh. I can't talk, okay. When they noticed my vicious approach, the crows all flapped upwards, fleeing into the sky. When the crows' big black bodies flew away, they exposed the garbage bag. Oh my god. What? Oh my god, what is going on? No. What had I seen there? The scream had escaped my throat before I understood what I was looking at. Oh my god, what was this? Sadako came over as well, realizing something had happened. And she looked over my shoulder, and then she screamed as well. Never in my wildest imagination. I was so concerned about Sadako. I'm like, I didn't think anything was going to happen to Rika. This wasn't... The garbage bag was crimson, dyed in fresh blood. Even enough of the stupid roundabout way of saying it. That's right. Yes. It was Rika-chan. Our friend. Sadako's best friend. Always easygoing, clever as a cat, but so cute you couldn't hate her. Our friend, Rika-chan. Rika-chan was stark naked. She was face up, limbs sprawled. Her eyes were like glass. Just staring up into the sky, and I hate this sound effect. This is upsetting. Oh my... Oh my god, what is happening in this chapter? Sadako broke down crying on the spot, and yet she still couldn't approach her friend's remains. The crows had gotten through the garbage bag and dragged. They dragged out an apple peel and spread it all over. No. Oh, those her intestines? Crows, they couldn't do this. Ugh. On the spot, I started vomiting. The sour taste became a bitter one as I threw up over and over again. Rika-chan, her stomach was cut wide open, vertically, completely open. Jesus. Oh my god, what is happening? Crows couldn't have done this. And from her open stomach, her organs, her bowels were dragged out like children's toys left all over the floor. The unbelievable sight induced oxygen deprivation in my brain. Color left my vision, a pounding headache, dizzy, and I wanted to vomit. It was like the nightmarish remains of a ceremonial killing. Someone somewhere had killed Rika-chan, brought her here, laid her here with her limbs sprawled out, and then cut open her stomach and dragged out her intestines. Jesus, this is so much fucking darker than anything. This chapter is messed up. This is what you guys wanted from me, isn't it? You wanted these reactions. This is awful. Red and pink viscera was sticking out of her gut, and her intestines were scattered in every direction like it had been for fun. The entire ground was covered in an ocean of red and black. A few of the crows had hopped about inside that ocean. They walked through the sea of blood, leaving bloody footprints. And those footprints, there were several still left on Rika-chan's body. Those sinister prints made it seem even more like a bizarre ritual killing. I may have wished for Takano-san and Coach and Oishi to die, but I didn't remember ever wishing for Rika-chan's death. Oh my god. Oh god. I stumbled backwards and stepped on a newspaper. A newspaper in a place like this? The newspaper was what was covering my hatchet. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I told him to ditch the hatchet. He's standing before a little girl with her intestines out and he's holding a hatchet. Oh my god, Keiichi, did you kill Rika? Did you slip into, like, a psychosis state and kill Rika and you don't even remember? Like, probably not, because I refuse to believe that. I had kept it wrapped up in my belt in order to carry Sadako, and that newspaper had fallen off. Sheesh, don't scare me like that. I bent down to pick it up. Oh no, and Sadako looked at me with such disbelief as I'd never seen, and froze. She was looking straight at me, at the hatchet, on my belt. Oh no. Oh my god. Sadako, trembling madly, backed away. Oh no. She didn't care at all that she was exposing herself through the towel. She just trembled and tried to step back from the demon in front of her. Screaming weakly, Sadako began to run unsteadily. Run away, that is. Oh, Keiichi, it's just getting worse and worse for you. And I mean, the fact that he's talking about all these things that happened to him, wishing people's deaths, killing her uncle, I don't blame Sadako for thinking this. The way she ran away, it was so weak, so slow. So if I wanted to go after her, I could have caught up. But if I tried to grab Sadako's shoulder or something right now, she might actually go crazy. So I had to follow her and try to clear this up.
Takano-sanを殺して、監督を殺して、大石さんも殺したんでございましょう。おじさまを殺そうとして、リカまで、人殺し!
Oh, I'm afraid he's gonna chase her and she's gonna trip and fall and she's gonna break her neck or something and he's gonna have killed her too. This looks bad. A dude walking around with a hatchet chasing after a naked little girl. Like, oh god.
何を言ってるんですの？あなたさっき自分で言ったじゃありませんの。 死ねって、死んでしまえって。それでみんな死んでしまったんでしょ。
俺は死ねって思っただけで、別に。
自分で何をしたか記憶に残っていないんでございましょう。そんな人の話なんか信用できるわけありませんわ。人を殺した時の記憶が欠落してるだけなんじゃありませんの。いや、記憶がないふりをしてるだけなんじゃありませんの。第一、そのナタは何なんですのよ。説明してごらんなさいな。
これは
Yeah, not good, not
ほら
good.
ほら、圭一さんは殺人鬼じゃありませんの。どうしてですの。ちょっと意地悪だったけど楽しくて優しい、一度は本当のニーニーかもしれないとまで思ったのに、どうしてそんな風になってしまったんですの。
I might have been able to slowly answer each of Sadako's questions at a time, but in this situation, explaining my innocence in such a short period of time was impossible. I mean, I didn't even know if I was really innocent anyway. At the very least, I killed Sadako's uncle. There was no body, but I killed him. Without a doubt. At that point, I was far from innocent. And I wished Takano-san, Coach, and Oishi were dead. And that curse of mine. So even ignoring Takano-san's death, Coach's and Oishi's were completely premeditated crimes. Was I a killer, just like Sadako said? Was I unable to distinguish between illusion and reality, and turn into a demon without remembering it, becoming a killer who carried out Oishiro-sama's curse? No, that couldn't be. It was impossible. Damn it! The very word impossible was impossible in Hinamizawa right now. How many freaking times have I said that word these past 3 days? Sadako had started crying again, and was walking unsteadily. First it felt like she was still running, but now it was like she was walking away crying from someone bullying her.
どうしてこんなことになってしまったんですの。どうして。
Oh, this is like the opposite. It was like Rena was chasing me through the woods with a hatchet in the first one, and now I'm not chasing, but I am following Sadako with a hatchet. If there was an answer to that, then I wanted to know it too. Why? Why had it turned out like this?
ニーニーがいなくなってずっと寂しかったけど、圭一さんが転校してきてくれて、またみんな明るくなって楽しくなって、毎日が光ってたのに。
Yeah, she was right. Those days were bright and beautiful. And yet, after that, Sadako and I shouted the exact same thing.
どうしてこんなことに。
The cicadas were sneering at the spectacle, our strange game of tag. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Eventually, I heard the murmuring of a stream. The forest parted, and a suspension bridge appeared. Oh, this was at the very beginning of the chapter, wasn't it? This was at on the title. Sadako was crossing dangerously, wobbling as though she might fall at any— Oh, fuck, he's gonna accidentally— Oh, she's gonna die, isn't she? She's gonna fall off the bridge. Sadako was crossing dangerously, wobbling as though she might fall at any moment. And when I stepped on the bridge, it swayed a lot, causing Sadako to stagger and fall on the spot.
大丈夫か、貞子。
近寄らないで。この人殺し。
Sadako shouted, her hatred made very clear. It was sad. If words could cut, then this warmth flowing from my eyes would have been blood for sure.
どうしてこうなってしまったんですの。ケンチさんのこと大好きだったのに。
I wanted to go up to her and give her a hand, but the distance between us was uncrossable. If I got any closer, Sadako would start shouting again, and say things that would hurt me deeply again. So I couldn't approach any closer than this.
貞子、俺にもなんでこうなったかわからないんだ。でもこれだけは言える。リカちゃんを殺したのは俺じゃないんだ。それだけは絶対に。
いい加減なこと言わないでほしいですわ。自分の記憶にも自信が持てない人が何を言ったってどう信じればいいって言うんですの。
I tightened my hands into fists. This was mortifying. I wasn't crazy. Hinamizawa was crazy. Ever since I wandered into it, lost on that one night. This insane world where I was at the festival when I wasn't, and the uncle I killed was alive. Where death would just come by wishing for it. It was this world's fault. Mion and Rena started acting strangely like they were possessed by something too, and Coach wouldn't believe anything I had to say. And even Sadako, who I should have protected, was yelling at me like this. Was the price for killing a man supposed to be this high? Was I really going to be forced to stay in such a bitter world? I did the right thing. At least I wanted to. So then, why? I hated it. Every time I asked why, the days Sadako and I enjoyed in peace went so wrong.
貞子、信じてくれ。俺は人殺しじゃない。
では、そのナタは何なんですの？
I'm not a murderer, I'm just an attempted murderer.
納得のいく説明はできまして。
このナタが怖いのか。じゃあ捨てるよ。それなら安心だろ。
Sadako didn't nod, but she seemed to be in agreement with that proposition. I clumsily took the hatch out of my belt and dropped it over the side of the bridge into the stream below.
捨てたぞ。これで話を聞いてくれるな。
武器を捨てたくらいで気を許すと思いまして。圭一さんほどの方なら私を捨てて絞め殺すなんて簡単でしょうに。
Like hell I would ever want to kill Sadako. You idiot?
じゃあどうしたらいい？両手を頭の上で組んだらいいか？
そうですわね。両手を頭の上で組んで後ろを向いてくださいます。
Maybe Sadako will kill Keiichi. Maybe she'll come up behind him and push him off the bridge or something. For killing Rika. It was a cunning plan, much like the one she used during club activities. Putting my hands on my head and turning away would mean I couldn't attack Sadako very easily. I immediately acquiesced to her request since it would make her feel better.
これでいいか？俺の話を聞いてくれ。
Sadako stood up, then carefully approached me from behind. And then she actually came right up behind me. She was so close, and yet I was so sad that I wasn't allowed to turn around.
圭一さんが悪くないのはなんとなくうすうす分かっていましたわ。
え？
多分あなたは何か悪いものに乗り移られただけなんです。
I wonder if she's gonna say like my brother was.
さっきまでは圭一さんが殺人鬼なんだと思ってたけど、あなたの目を見ていたら。
I could hear that Sadako was still crying, but her voice was gentle just the same.
圭一さんが人殺しなんかするわけがない。圭一さんの体を何か悪いものが乗っ取って
I still
悪
don't...
事に駆り立てただけ。
I'm still a little worried about having my back to Sadako that she's going to do something and she's going to be like, but even if it wasn't you, you're still a danger and I've got to take care of it. Was she speaking literally right now? Or was she trying to admonish me? I couldn't tell.
思えばひょっとするとあの人たちも圭一さんと同じものに乗り移られていたのかもしれない。あの時は殺されるとしか思わなかったからそこまでは考えが及ばなかったけど、今ならわかる。あれは乗り移った何か悪いものの仕業だった。
貞子、何の話だ？
It was less like she was talking to me, and more like she was talking to herself, like she was confessing at my back.
わかってるんですの。身に覚えがないわけじゃないんです。
Oh, I haven't experienced it myself. Huh. Did she wish death upon people too, or is she talking about, like, with her brother this happened as well? Sadako's voice started to become mixed with sobs. Her pain voice tore at my heart. But I didn't know what Sadako was talking about.
西宮殿の屋根によじ登ったことがありますの。何年も前のことですわ。
Once, when Sadako was playing hide and seek at the shrine grounds, She climbed onto the roof of the storehouse for ritual implements, which everyone said not to go near, and hid. Then Sadako saw that she could get in through a window meant for ventilation. For Sadako, the word curse was plenty scary, but she was more curious about what was inside the unknown storehouse. She removed the grating on the window, which was already hanging off, slid her small body into it, and climbed down inside. Oh, we know nothing good comes from going into that storehouse. It was too dark to see much, but after descending, she realized just how high up she'd been. Maybe this was the curse that struck her family was by her going into the storehouse. Because she said it was a few years ago and then all of her family members started dying off. Despite the darkness, she could see a few things around her thanks to the faint light coming in from the air window. And to her disappointment, it was just a regular old storehouse. She tried to leave, but the door was locked up tight from the outside, and it was made to not open from within. She would have to go back out through the ventilation window she'd come in from. But the window was high on the wall, and there was no way she would be able to climb back up. Sadako desperately tried not to cry, and racked her brain thinking of a way to get up there. There was a lot of birdcage-looking things hanging by chains from the ceiling. She took the hanging chains and strung them along the wall. If she climbed up the bundle of chains, she might be able to manage to climb up the ventilation window. There was nothing else she could do, so she had to try. And try she did. It was dark and creepy, and she didn't want to stay there forever. The more she thought about that, the more she panicked. She climbed the bundle of chains. Sadako could hear the clinks and clangs of everything creaking under her weight. And then, just as her hand reached the window, one of the metal fixtures she used to stick the chains on the wall flew off, and all the chains began to pull loudly and furiously every which way. Spurred on by the sounds behind her, she managed to get back onto the roof from the window. Because of the weight of the flailing bundle of chains, the other fixtures broke, and then one of the big bird cages hanging from the ceiling fell to the floor with a huge noise. Under it was an image of Oyashiro-sama, his vessel, and the cage took off one of the arms, then trapped some other implements beneath it. Oh, is she saying that she released Oyashiro-sama? It didn't take very long for her to grow scared of what she'd done, and she feels like he possessed Keiichi and the others because of what she'd done. The deafening noise could be heard from the rest of the shrine grounds. A few other children heard it and gathered around. And of course, Rika was one of them. Then Rika's father, the shrine's priest with an angry look, ran over. And then, as for what happened next, it was painful to remember. The only one who knew where Rika's parents kept the key to the ritual storehouse was Rika. So he scolded her, saying that this happened because Rika pulled a prank and hid me in there. He was very angry and menacing. Just looking at him was enough to frighten anyone. He exposed Rika's back, took a strangely shaped ritual cane or something and struck her with it several times. Rika's words at the time, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Oh, there's the apologizing. That pitiful voice I still can't get out of my head. I should have said it was me. I should have said so to save my best friend from that false accusation, without being afraid of Rika's father's terrible temper. Rika gritted her teeth and cried at the crime she didn't remember doing. Ever since then, the world had been strange.
わかってるんですの、私には。これは、お社様のたたりだって。あの時、最後伝を怪我して、親友を見捨てた私への天罰だって。
お社様のたたり。
父も母も、濁流に消えた。意地悪だったおばも死んだけど、誰よりも私を可愛がってくれたニーニーも、私を捨てて、家出してしまった。そして、圭一さんが転校してきて、やっと楽しい毎日が戻ってきたと思ったのに、今度は、圭一さんが取り憑かれて、リカも殺されて。聞いたの私。お社様は、本当にたたりをなすときは、本人をすぐに殺さないんだって。親しい人から順に殺して、みんな殺してから、最後に殺すんだって。だから 圭一さんもタタリにやられてきっと今度はレナさんやミオンさんがたたられてしまうんですわ。そして殺したり殺されたり。
Oh boy, I hope she's not. Oh god. I'm afraid that Sadako is gonna do something to be like, I'm gonna break the curse by. Maybe she's gonna kill herself before the curse gets a chance to, you know, kill her off, and then maybe by killing herself she'll appease the spirits and they won't go after the rest of her friends. I'm afraid she's gonna fling herself off this bridge right now. This bridge, there's gotta be some sort of reason why we're at this bridge.
もういや。
落ち着けよサトコ。
She's gonna do something. I just have a feeling she's gonna do something.
たたりなんかない。誰もお前をいじめたりなんかしないって。
Oh, when I turned around, I was thrust away with amazing force. Given my hands were awkwardly placed on my head, I couldn't take the fall and lost my balance. And I'd been pushed not into the bridge, but to the side. What's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? Oh, towards the stream. No, this can't be happening. As one last miracle, I was allowed to grab a cord hanging from the bridge. Oh, damn. Okay, that's not where I thought I was gonna go. I thought she was gonna do something to herself, not to me. Far below me was the stream. We were pretty high up, and below were rocks of all sizes. If I fell, it clearly wouldn't be pretty. The entire bridge was tilting under my body weight. My frail little grip probably wouldn't last another minute before my fingers had to let go.
Satoko! Satoko!
I didn't understand myself, what I meant by shouting her name then. Was I asking her to save me? Or was I asking her why she did this? Finally, everything came back into focus, and I saw Sadako. Oh boy, and I was surprised at what an odd expression she had. Oh, it was the first time I'd seen it. It was an expression of righteous anger meant only for those who needed to die. Oh, Jesus. Wow, okay, that's... Damn. Wow, she does not look like herself at all. As she screamed, she jerked the bridge to and fro. She didn't have to do that. I was going to fall anyway.
私はお前なんかには負けないんですのよ。タタリなんかに負けてたまるもんですか。お前になんか絶対に負けない。みんなを奪ったお前に絶対に負けたりなんかしない。
サトコ、これだけは聞いてくれ。
I don't know what my face looked like at the time, but it seemed like it was enough to quell Sadako's agitation.
俺のしたことは確かに褒められるものじゃない。いや、いけないことだったかもしれない。だけど、お前に幸せになってほしくってしたことだったんだ。それだけは信じてくれ。
こいつ最後の最後で
Oh no. Oh boy, she's gonna straight up kill me, isn't she? She's not listening to me. Sadako didn't seem to have any more desire to listen to what I had to say. And for that to happen at the very end like this was tragic.
お前に褒められたくてやったわけじゃなかった。お前に幸せになってさえもらえればよかった。俺たちはダメなんだ。
Oh boy, is this the end? Is this the end of the chapter?
お前が笑っていないとダメなんだ。
I don't know how this is gonna go. Is she gonna die? Am I gonna die? Are we both gonna die? Is nobody gonna die? Probably not that one. Someone's gonna die here.
だから俺が消えたら笑ってくれ。
Or is he gonna kill himself? Is he just gonna let go of the bridge?
俺が死ぬことで新しい生活を迎えたならきっと笑ってくれ。それだけ約束してくれないか。
Oh, Jesus.
ケイチさんの口調で喋るな。オチを押してしまえ。
Okay. And those were the last words Sadako ever said to me. Those sad, tragic, and altogether unrewarding words. What on earth was I? My desire to make Sadako happy ended up like this. Where did I first go wrong? And what was the mistake I made? When did I make it? Was I the crazy one, or was it Hinamizawa? Even after all of this, I thought I wasn't crazy at all. It was this eerie world that was crazy, this world I'd accidentally wandered into that one night. Because that fun world where I never doubted all the crazy times we had as a club would go on forever. It couldn't possibly have transformed into such an abnormal world. That fun world wouldn't have ever ended with this, with Sadako pushing me to my death. Okay, this is happening. In the end, I was going to be swallowed up by this crazy world. And disappear. No, I'd probably already disappeared. Yes, probably. On the night of Watanagashi, I'm still like, what is going on with that whole thing about him being at the festival and not? This other Keiichi Maebara, those footsteps? Are we never going to get any answer to this? I know there's a whole other, there's the question arc and the answer arc, so I probably have to wait for that. But man, I was hoping to at least get something to answer some sort of question. I'm sure that in the world I really belonged to, I'd vanished that night, and everyone was worried. It was laughable that I had taken this long to figure out I wasn't around anymore. Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 5th year was Sadako's uncle dying and me disappearing. In the real world, Sadako had already been freed. Maybe my friends were all lamenting my disappearance and valiantly trying to get back on their feet. And even though they were down to 4 people, the club would reopen, and they would have a good time without me, waiting for the day when I would come back. I'm sorry, everyone. I couldn't come back home, but this is what I wished for. It was my wish for Sadako's smile, and my duty as her Nini. At this point, there will be nobody left to torture you. Because Satoshi and I, it took 2 years, but we succeeded. That annoying, toothy smile of yours. We wanted to see it one more time. Oh. Is that it? Is that it? My pain wasn't gentle or merciful. It was a sharp pain, violent, powerful, and ruthless. What little compassion I had receded in the span of a moment. And now I could die. I could say goodbye to this insane world. Farewell, crazed Hinamizawa. Thanks for giving me the psychic power to kill people whenever I wanted. If you'll still allow it, I'll wish for one last thing. The death of this very world, of this crazed Hinamizawa. So that nobody would ever have to find themselves lost here again. Is this it? It seems so sudden. Oh my god, is that the end of the chapter? Like the whole thing? Except we're still getting tips, so I guess it's not over. Huh. Okay, well, we'll check out this last tip, and then I guess we'll wrap it. I have no idea how much more of this there could possibly be, though. Oyashiro-sama. Nobody really knows what characters to use to write Oyashiro-sama. Knowing this is hard, partly because depending on the time period. He had been called with various titles, with subtle changes to his name, and nobody knows the real one. The only thing all time periods agree on is that the 4 syllables O, Ya, Shi, and Ro are always used. There is a theory stating the shrine, or yashiro, dedicated to Oyashiro-sama itself became an object of worship. And that person began calling it Oyashiro-sama, or Lord Honorable Shrine, but this doesn't make a bit of sense. I don't know whether this is related, but people say that the Furude family, the most respected bloodline in terms of worshipping Oyashiro-sama, actually inherited his blood. And in the legend the Furude family passes down, if for 8 generations in a row the firstborn child is a girl, the 8th daughter will be the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. If we go by this legend, the characters used for Oyashiro-sama's name should be O for honorable, Ya for 8, and Shiro for generation. These character assignments are simply something I've thought up. There is no way to verify it. If this is true, then Oyashiro-sama would have been named as such under the assumption he would come again. The second coming of an object of worship can be seen in several religions, so this isn't unusual. But a few of these religions call the second coming of their object of worship a day of judgment, or something along those lines, and we must not forget they mean it to be the end of the world. Rika Furude, pampered and loved dearly by the elderly folk in the village. The rumors say she is the 8th generation, and Oyashiro-sama. I do not know the family tree of the Furudes, but at the very least I can confirm that for the past 2 generations, the first child has been a girl. Rika Furude watches over Hinamizawa. If the village were to lose her protection, what would happen? Would peace between man and demon be lost? Would it once again create a hellish landscape where man-eating demons run rampant? A gruesome feast of the demons who suddenly remembered how delicious the weak humans were, who could only cry, scream, and run for their lives. What would that look like? Just imagining it is enough to make my heart pound with excitement. That's gotta be Takano-san. That's gotta be her notes, obviously. Every time it's the research notes, I'm assuming that's her. Alright guys, so that will wrap it up for this episode. Quite a cliffhanger. I apologize for the shorter episode this week. I do have 3 videos that I have to record and edit, so I don't have as much time, and I don't know how much more of this is left, because I mean, it feels like that would be the end of Tatarigoroshi, but it's saying continues, so I don't know how much more there is. The next episode might be very short. I have no idea, because I'm playing this blind. So, I don't know what else could possibly happen. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.